So it is once again that time of year, guys, where we go through all of the books that I own and I tell you guys which ones I still have not read. If you are familiar with my channel, you will know that we make this video annually. I dread making it every year, but I do really like the finished project and it does serve a couple of purposes. Now, the first one is that I just generally find it interesting to know how many of my books I have unread. I do have a spreadsheet where I keep track. It is a little bit like not accurate, like it's a little bit out of date, but I do keep a spreadsheet and my rough percentage of how many books I own that I've read is 40%, and it has been consistently around 40% for the last few years, so I feel like that is a pretty reliable statistic. I want to state really clearly that I don't find it overwhelming to have a very large TBR. Like, I like having a lot of books to choose from, whether it be for readathons and prompts or just generally to see kind of like what I'm in the mood for, to pick TBRs for like vlog projects and things. I like to have a really big TBR, and I do have quite a high turnover of books. When I'm reading books, like in a monthly wrap up, I may unhaul half of those books after I've read them if I did not enjoy them. And then of course those spots are free to be taken up by new books that I haven't read. I do want to add a little bit more accountability this year though, and I did try to do this in, I think it was 2022, but at that point I was starting to get quite like overwhelmed and a little bit burnt out, and I had to really scale back on any kind of accountability I had for my channel, any like projects I was doing, any goals that I had, because I just mentally could not hack it. But I've had a very refreshing year. I feel like I have a much better balance between like being online, making videos, and like my life outside of that. And so I feel like I'm ready to very slowly introduce some accountability back into this channel. And while I do love having a big TBR, and I do not think that having a massive TBR is a problem for me, I have a couple of stacks of books that don't fit on shelves right now. To be honest, my house is a mess because we're renovating upstairs, which is going to make this video even more difficult to film than usual. But I don't want bookshelves all over my house. I don't mind this room being filled with bookshelves. I don't mind the ones like the few that I have upstairs, but ideally I don't want any more bookshelves in my house, and I'm currently over capacity. So I don't want to set a hard goal on it because I actually don't know what the number is going to be at the end of this video until I edit it. But I would like, ideally, for the number of books I have at this time next year to be no bigger than the number of books it is right now. And if I could reduce that so that I have no books on the floor, like everything has a home, that would be great. But I feel like as my amount of books is kind of increasing every year, a more realistic goal would just to be like to keep it at the level that it is now, which means reading more than I'm hauling, which could be a problem. But the other purpose that this video serves is that I actually have a space on my Bookopoly board, which I do still use for vlogs. I'm also planning on utilizing this space in a different way in 2024 if it's all possible. Don't want to overcommit, like baby steps, please stop being ambitious. But what I want you guys to do is, if at any point throughout this video you see a book that you want me to read, you put that down in my comments. Now, you can do this either one book per comment, or you could watch the entire video and build your comment throughout the video and then just post it at the end. And when I land on the viewer recommendation square on Bookopoly, I randomize all of the comments in this video and I have to read a book from that comment. So if you've done one book per comment, it has to be that book. And if you have done like a big list in one comment, then I get to choose. So it doesn't matter to me. I know some people do feel like they might be annoying me if they post like 50 single book comments. It does not bother me at all. Like, whichever way it is preferable to you, whichever way you want to do it is absolutely fine, but make sure that you do that, and I may be reading your recommendation at some point in the future. I do utilize that at least a few times in the year throughout like vlog projects and stuff, so be sure to get your recommendations in. But in terms of how many books I think we're gonna have at this video, because I always like to make a guess, and like I said, I won't know until I finish editing like what the final number is going to be. But if I was to hazard a guess at the amount of books that we're gonna have, last year it was 530. I have read 89 books, we'll call it 90. I think I've read 89 books at the point that I'm filming this year, but more pages, less books but more pages than this point last year. And I've hauled 164, so I'm pretty comfortable with that actually, because my initial guess was 600. But If you think I've hauled 74 books more than I've read, but some of them will be like special editions of books that I already own. Some of them may be multiple special editions of the same book. Some of them may be books that I have read, like I've hauled them and then read them. So with that in mind, I'm going to go a little bit lower with my guess. Based on what I know I have in stacks on the floor, where I don't think I had many, if any, stacks last year, I'm gonna go with 570 and we'll see if I'm right. So if I am, my goal for 2024 is going to be not to go over 600, which gives me a little bit of leeway, but it's nothing like too excessive. So we'll call, no, I'm gonna call it 575 is going to be my official guess, and we'll see what happens. So without further ado, get those typing fingers ready for the comments and let's find out how many books I currently have that I have not read. Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Ayamide, Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi, The Night Country by Melissa Albert, All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders, Flowers in the Attic by Victoria Andrews, The Coward by Stephen Iron, Monsters Born and Made by Tanvi Bauer, Boundary Side by Robert Jackson Bennett, Three Dark Crowns, One Dark Throne, and The Queens of Fenburn by Kendall Blake, Daughter of the Blood by Anne Bishop, Unchosen by Catherine Blair, Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler, Afterlove by Tanya Byrne, Stormfront, Summer Night, and Grave Peril by Jim Butcher, Sanctuary, Safe House, Codename Cassandra, When Lightning Strikes, Insatiable, and Overbite by Meg Cabot, Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anna Guire, The Magician's Apprentice and The Magician's Guild by Trudy Canavan, Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero, Boy on the Bridge by M.R. Carey, Graceling and Fire by Kristen Kershaw, A Song for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, Sorcerer to the Crown by Zen Cho, Princess of Souls by Alexandra Christo, The Exiled Queen and The Grey Wolf Throne by Cinda Williams Chimer, Postern of Fate, N.R.M, and By the Pricking of My Thumbs by Agatha Christie, Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, Leviathan Wakes and Persepolis Rising by James S.A. Corey, Tracer's Blade by Sebastian D. Castell, The Blood Gift by N.E. Davenport, Lock and Key, The Truth About Forever, and That Summer by Sarah Desson, The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw, We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal, Gone, Lies, and Light by Michael Grant, Deadline by Mira Grant, Malice, Valor, Ruin, and Wrath by John Gwynne, Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness, Tess of the Road, and Seraphina by Rachel Hartman, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin, Extravaganza City of Masks by Mary Hoffman, An Echo of Things to Come by James Islington, Sparrow by Mary Cecilia Jackson, The Next Together and The Last Beginning by Lauren James, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez, Beneath the Keep by Erica Johansson, Winter Song by S.J. Jones, Prince of Thorns and Prince of Fools by Mark Lawrence, Provenance and Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, Warcross by Marie Lu, The Lies of Loch Lamora and Red Seas Under Red Sky by Scott Lynch, The Memory of Souls and The House of Always by Jen Lyons, Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, The Novice by Taran Mathero, The Falconer by Elizabeth May, Cursed by Marissa Meyer, Empress, The Riven Kingdom, Hammer of God, Innocent Mage and Awakened Mage, or by Karen Miller, Number 9 Dream, and The Thousand Autumns of Jacob de Zoet by David Mitchell, A Wild Sheep Chase, Norwegian Wood, Colorless Sakura Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage, and 1Q84 Books 1 and 2, all by Haruki Murakami, The Knife of Never Letting Go, The Asking the Answer, The Rest of Us Just Live Here, and More Than This, all by Patrick Ness, Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvelle, Temeraire, Throne of Jade, Black Powder Wharf, and Uprooted, all by Naomi Novik, The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill, Dorothy Must Die, The Wicked Will Rise, Dorothy Must Die Stories Volume 1 and Volume 2, all by Danielle Page, An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, Boy with the Porcelain Blade by Den Patrick, The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessel, Colour of Magic, and The Last Hero by Terry Pratchett, The Ivory Key by Ikshaya Rahman, Withering Tights by Louise Renison, Falling Kingdoms, Rebel Spring, Gathering Darkness, Frozen Tides, and Crystal Storm, all by Morgan Rhodes, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Hollow City, and Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs, Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, Under the Never Sky, Into the Still Blue, and Through the Evernight by Veronica Rossi, The Name of the Wind, and The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, A Taste of Golden Iron by Alexandra Rowland, The Winner's Curse, and The Winner's Crime by Marie Rakoski, The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan, Sword of Destiny, Blood of Elves, Time of Contempt, and The Tower of the Swallow by Andrzej Sapkowski, The Dark Vault and A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian, Bones of Fairy by Jamie Lee Simner, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, The Raven Boys, Ballad and Lament by Maggie Stiefvater, Stormblood by Jeremy Saul, Battle Royale by Kushan Takami, The Girl in 6E by A.R. Tor, Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Sujimura, The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tacholke, The Thief by Megan Mullen Turner, The Wolf of Oroñaro by K.S. Veloso, Beast Warrior by Nohoko Uehashi, The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wang, Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson, The Distance Between Us by Casey West, The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler, A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe by Alex White, And I Darken and Slayer by Kirsten White, The Girl King by Mimi Yu, The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafon, Angel and Spike Volume 1, All of the Devils Are Here, Willow, Blackbird Book 1, The Great Beast, Die Volume 1, Fantasy Heartbreaker, Monstrous Volume 1, Awakening, Saga Volume 11, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yaros, Poison Study, Magic Study, and Fire Study by Maria V. Snyder, Lore Olympus Volume 5 by Rachel Smith, Foxglove by Adeline Grace, The Dry by Jane Harper, Throne of the Fallen by Kerry Maniscalco, Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford, Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, Enchanted to Meet You by Meg Cabot, This Spells Love by Kate Robb, Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie, Sons of Darkness by Gaurav Mohanty, A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie, The Lazarus War by Jamie Sawyer, An Oath of Dogs by Wendy W. Wagner, The Imaginary Corpse by Tyler Hayes, Fleet Cute by Meryl Wilsner, If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun, Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stephen, Lost Boy by Christina Henry, After the Forest by Kel Woods, Diamond Throne by David Eddings, Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, Shaman's Crossing, Forest Mage, and Renegade's Magic by Robin Hobb, The Book of Witches edited by Jonathan Strahan, The Thousand Deaths of Ardor Ben by Tyler Whitesides, The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye, Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin, Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray, Master of Sorrows by Justin Call, The Library of Broken Worlds by Elia Dawn Johnson, The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero La Cruz, Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, Forged by Blood by Ahigbo Okerson, The Jazad Air by Sarah Hashem, The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy, The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon, The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker, Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare, The Gilded Crown by Marianne Gordon, Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, Son of Blood and Ruin by Marielle Larez, The Kingdom is a Golden Cage by Lily Inkwood, Bonesmith by Nikki Pau Preto, Wicked Fox by Kat Cho, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig, The Savage Grace by Brie Despain, Mirage by Samaya Dowd, A Thousand Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, Orphea by Joanne M. Harris, Descendant of the Crane by Joan He, The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid, Horrid by Katrina Leno, Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, Seven Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb, Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston, Defiance by C.J. Redwine, Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood, Born by Jeff Vandermeer, Witch King by Martha Wells, The Kingdom of Copper and the Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, The Witching Hour, Interview with the Vampire and The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice, Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey, Magician by Raymond D. Feist, Kashiel's Dark and Kashiel's Avatar by Jacqueline Carey, The Last Namsara and The Caged Queen by Kristen Cicerelli, The Lives of Saints, Rule of Wolves, Ninth House, Hellbent and Wonder Woman Warbringer by Lee Bardugo, Kingdom of the Feared by Kerry Maniscalco, Night of Cake and Puppets, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Planet of the Apes by Pierre Boulle, The Five Orange Pips and Other Cases, and The Adventure of the Engineer's Thumb and Other Cases by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Middlemarch by George Eliot, Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, A Room with a View by E.M. Forster, Daisy Miller and the Turn of the Screw by Henry James, Les Miserables Volume 1 and Les Miserables Volume 2 by Victor Hugo, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, Treasure Island and the Ebb Tide by Robert Louis Stevenson, Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, Alfred Tennyson In Memoriam Maud and Other Poems, The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray, We Were There by Yuki Obata, Fruits Basket Volume 1 by Natsuki Takaya, Death Note Volume 1 by Sugumi Oba and Takeshi Obata, I Hear the Sunspot Volume 1 by Yuki Firmino, Resident Evil The Mahawa Desire Volume 1 by Naoki Serizawa, Dream in Sun Volume 5 by Ichigo Takano, Oz the Complete Collection Volume 1 by L. Frank Baum, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, Mary Poppins Comes Back, Mary Poppins Opens the Door, Mary Poppins in the Park, and Mary Poppins in Cherry Tree Lane by P.L. Travers, Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison, The Land of Raw by Jenny Jenny McLachlan, Fairies, Mermaids, and Unicorns by Skye Alexander, Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare, Curse of Saints by Kate Dramus, Wayward by Amelia Hart, Wolf Song and In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, The Saviour's Champion by Jenna Moresi, All the Dead Lie Down by Kyrie Macaulay, Threads That Bind by Kika Hasopoulou, Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken, Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, Witch Sign by Den Patrick, Gargantus by Thomas Taylor, Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston, Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett, Burton on Burton by Tim Burton, Fever and Wither by Lauren Di Stefano, The Helm of Midnight by Marina Lostetta, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, The Spell of Dust and Smoke by Alora Burrell, Misrule by Heather Walter, The Many Lives of Stephen Leeds, Steel Heart, The Bands of Mourning, The Lost Metal, Rhythm of War, Skyward Flight, and Cytonic, all by Brandon Sanderson, The Inheritance by Robin Hobb, Kingdom of Souls by Raina Barron, Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen, The Book of S by J.J. Abrams, Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova, Caraval by Stephanie Garber, Lady Hotspur by Tessa Grattan, Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James, The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kruger, Holy Sister and The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence, Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd-Jones, Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell, Bats of the Republic by Zachary Thomas Dodson, Seven Devils by Elizabeth May and Laura Lamb, Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Marino Garcia, Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner, Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson, In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland, Splintered by A.G. Howard, Deadlands by Stacey Marie Brown, Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, Red Sight by Meredith Mooring, Red Country by Joe Abercrombie, All of Our Demise by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman, Outlaw Mage by K.S. Veloso, Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin, Winter House by Ben Gutterson, Romanov by Nadine Brands, Princess of the Broken by Jasmine K. Swinburne, Middle Game by Sean Maguire, Dark and Starless Forest by Sarah Hollowell, This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria, The Immortal Game by Talia Rothschild and A.C. Harvey, The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green, The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ankrum, Blood and Moonlight by Erin Beatty, Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown, Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett, Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson, Star Daughter by Shavita Thakrar, The Sisters Grimm by Mena Van Prague, Cryer's War by Nina Varela, The Diviners, Lair of Dreams, Before the Devil Breaks You, and The King of Crows by Libba Bray, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, 6-4 by Hideo Yokiyama, I Have Lost My Way by Gail Foreman, Guilty Pleasures by Laurel K. Hamilton, Arrowheart by Rebecca Sky, The Last Boy and Girl in the World by Siobhan Vivian, Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling, Hold Back the Tide by Melinda Salisbury, The Elites by Natasha Nyan, Us by David Nichols, Sisters of the Winterwood by Rena Rosner, The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks by E. Lockhart, Cloud of Sparrows by Takashi Matsuoka, The Power by Naomi Alderman, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, The Shock and the Fall by Nathan Filer, The Supreme Lie by Geraldine McCoffrian, Where Dreams Descend by Janelle Angeles, Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer, Havenfall by Sarah Holland, The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White, The Book of Night by Holly Black, The Unsinkable Greta James by Jennifer E. Smith, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon, The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox, How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days by K. M. Jackson, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood, Undercover Bromance, Crazy Stupid Bromance, and Isn't It Bromantic by Lissa K. Adams, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Breath of Fire, Night Chaser, and Starbreaker by Amanda Boucher, Badlands, Bloodlands, and Shadowlands by Stacey Marie Brown, The Bone Witch and The Blood Witch by Ivy Asher, Wicked Beginnings by L.A. Cotton, All the Fields by Olivia Dade, Sex Life, 44 Chapters About 4 Men, and Skin by B.B. Easton, Infernal Magic by C.N. Crawford, Reminders of Him and Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, The Vampire Wants a Wife and Dating Sucks by Andy M. Long, Faye by Cassandra Faye, Daisy Hates, The Long Way Home, and The Great Undoing by Jessa Hastings, Book Lovers by Emily Henry, Twisted Love and King of Wrath by Anna Huang, The Deal by Elle Kennedy, The Serpents and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, Rain and Ruin by J.D. Evans, Queen Takes Nights by Jolie Sue Burkhart, Oath Taker by Audrey Gray, Heart of the Fae by Emma Hamm, Glow by Raven Kennedy, The Reunion by Kayla Olson, Luna Love by Lauren Kung Jessen, For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding, The Bride Test and The Heart Principle by Helen Helen Huang, Stolen Songbird and The Inadequate Heir by Danielle L. Jensen, X's and O's by Amy Lee, Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, Love and Other Words, Soulmate Equation, and The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, First Grave on the Right and Fifth Grave Past the Light by Dorinda Jones, Night Pleasures by Sherilyn Kenyon, Hate You, The Revenge You Seek, and Thorn by Tracy Lorraine, My Cone and Only by Susanna Nix, Always Mine by Laura Pavlov, Blood and Honey and Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin, The Solace of Sharp Claws, The Dreams of Broken Kings, and The Secrets in Shadow and Blood by Lana Pacherzik, Song of Blood and Stone by Elle Penelope, Blood Fever by Karen Marie Moaning, Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Queen Takes Rose by Katie Robert, Angel's Blood, Archangel's Kiss, Archangel's Consort, and Archangel's Blade by Nalini Singh, A Touch of Ruin, A Game of Fate, and King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair, Disenchanted by Brianna Shigalski, Bewitched by Laura Thalassa, The Donut Trap by Julie Tu, Lover Unbound by J.R. Ward, House of Striking Oaths by Olivia Wildenstein, Trickery by Jamin Eve and Jane Washington, Crave by Tracy Wolfe, King of Sword and Sky by C.L. Wilson, Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, Make You Mine This Christmas by Lizzie Huxley Jones, Crown of Oaths and Curses, and Broken Bonds by Jay Brie, Lola and the Millionaires by Catherine Moon, Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake, Hooked by Emily McIntyre, Friends with the Monsters by Albany Walker, Brutal Mates by Lee Savino and Tabitha Black, What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods, Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma, Heartbones by Colleen Hoover, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, Breathless by Amy McCulloch, The Collective by Alison Galen, Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark, Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart, Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn, Devil Makes Three by Tori Bovolino, This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron, The Book Eaters by Sonia Dean, Diary of Blood by S.T. Gibson, Gilded Wolves by Rashani Chokshi, These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix, Blood Scion by Deborah Fillet, Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna, The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He, Jara by S.J. Jones, Year of the Reaper by Micaiah Lucia, The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed, Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart, We All Fall Down by Rose Sabo, Iron Widow by Zirin J. Zhao, Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley, All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham, Poster Girl by Veronica Roth, The Luminaries by Susan Dennard, Kiss Her Wants to Me by Alison Cochran, and Break the Pretty Kings by Lena Jeong, Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, Bittersweet by Susan Kane, Kikeye by Vishnavi Patel, Sign Here by Claudia Lux, The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green, The Verifiers by Jane Peck, Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott, The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd, Babel by R.F. Kwong, The City of Dusk by Tara Sim, One for My Enemy, Alone with You in the Ether, and The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake, Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty, Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayborn, Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett, The Lifestyle by Taylor Hahn, The Fortunes of Jaded Women by Caroline Hune, Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb, Inkblood Sister Scribe by Emma Tors, The Hawkling by Rebecca Zahabi, Darling Girl by Liz Mikalski, The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker, The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Rashani Chokshi, The Thorns Remain by J.J.A. Harwood, The Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim, Vladimir by Julia May Jonas, The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, Tell Me Everything by Erica Krause, Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee, These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan, Fire with Fire by Destiny Soraya, Red Scholar's Wake by Aliette de Bodar, The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten, The Valkyrie by Kate Hartfield, A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young, Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, June by Frank Herbert, The Darkening by Sonia Mara, Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, The Midnight Lie by Marie Rakoski, A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth, The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Sori, Song of Silver Flame Like Night by Amelie Wen Zhao, Jade Fire Gold by June C.L. Tan, Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lin Tan, The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, Law by Alexandra Bracken, The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew, The Adventures of Mina Al-Sarifi by Shannon Chakraborty, Cruel Illusions by Margie Fuston, City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer, This Vicious Grace by Emily Faide, Godkiller by Hannah Kana, This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi, A Marvelous Light by Freya Mask, and then finally we have my 3 current reads, which are Stolen Air by Sophie Lark, Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan, and The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adier. So how did we do? I don't know. The worst part of this video is that I don't know how I did until I finished editing. Something that also happened during the creation of this video is that I have had so many ideas and I'm unearthing these books. Some of them I forgot that I had. Some of them I'm like, oh my god, like I really want to read this. I've had so many ideas about 2024 content, things that I want to do, like problems that I have within my reading that I want to resolve. Like the amount of sequels or final books in series I came across, and it's like I could have finished this series if I'd have read this one book. So I'm actually going to go and do a brainstorm session and see if I can put myself together some 2024 goals. Not sure if I'll make a video about that yet because my schedule is already like full for the rest of the year, and like up until I think March maybe, or the end of February. Like I said at the beginning of this, I'm very conscious that I have been overwhelmed in the past and I don't want to overwhelm myself going forward. Like I want to learn from my mistakes, but also like I just had so many thoughts while I was making this video that I feel like I really want to work on in 2024. So last year it was 530. That could be an overestimation. We could end up with less books actually than I had at this point last year, but only you guys know right now. So don't forget down in the comments to leave your recommendations. Like I said, whether you choose to do one book per comment or just like a comment full of books for me to choose from is completely up to you, and we'll see if I can get to some of those recommendations in 2024. But aside from that guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish Kindle website, the Etsy for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today guys. Bye. The Knife of Never Letting Go. Fuck. Where are my most recent subscription box books? No idea.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.